Hard to miss that.
Awesome. So if you're if you're rewatching this, we just got off of a live close on the call. I should have been recording that whole thing. But that was a solid little alley oop there. We got Arnav teed up his second set demo ever, in only in a few first hours of calling, and then Zach ran the demo and closed it down. That was a good tag team effort. So good job, guys. Good stuff. And it's 3 deals up on the board so far. Zach's 265 yesterday. Before we get going in this, and I know you've got a call, you've got to hop on and try to close another one, Zach. So please do that and then hop back on after you close it. But you'll have this recording to watch. But walk me through like what happened on your deal yesterday.
Yeah. So this guy was being a little bit problematic ahead of time. He was sending me Instagram posts of other photo editors. He even sent me one of Brendan Sue's links, and he was like, "Oh, this is this other AI photo editing," but it was actually us. So I kind of like I pointed that out. That's like, oh, that's actually us. But
that's great.
Yeah, he was this crazy like yapper boomer from like Hawaii who is like sunburnt, super sunburnt, like shirtless, just like always leaning in, bald, real like not someone who I would think of as an ideal client for sure. Like, yeah, just shirtless on the call. But yeah, it turned out that
you ran the whole demo with them?
Ran the whole demo, and he was like, yeah, like,
Let's do it.
I think he wanted a good show. He wanted to be pursued, and I definitely did that and got the sale at the end.
Good job.
So
good
some
job.
exciting.
And what was the lesson learned you had mentioned in your end of day report?
Never judge a book by its cover. It could be anybody, and anybody could buy. Shirt on, shirt off. We don't discriminate here. If they buy, they buy. So even if they seem crazy, $265 from a crazy dude in Hawaii is the same $265 from a professional in Massachusetts. So it doesn't matter.
Hey, there we go. It's kind of what we talked about on our end of day report training a little bit of like, don't sell out of your own wallet, right? And it's the same kind of thing, right? Where it's like we may have a perception or like this preconceived notion of something, and we can't judge a book by its cover. It's the same thing, and Arnav, for you, I know you watched the recording, but whenever you're feeling this perceived sort of pressure, but you've spent 7-8 minutes on the call with them, take that last 30 seconds and run through the confirming the demo pieces, because ultimately, if they're maybe not rushing you, you feel like you're getting rushed, but that's so critical to run through those points to make sure that set is sticky and it actually holds. So solid work on the sale yesterday. Zach, the sale today, Arnav and Zach, good work. Man, I already feel like there's going to be some more closes this afternoon. I'm stoked. So heck yeah. Sweet guys. We'll keep this. Yeah, go ahead, Zach. What's up?
My good news is he was like, "Hey, I want to change it to 1:30 and a new proposed time," and I just switched that. So now I can be here for the full time, and I'll still close him later today.
Beautiful. Well, that's good that he actually confirmed that. That's a good sign. That means that he's attentive and is actually going to show up. So that's solid. Most people don't do that kind of stuff. So that's really good, man. Good work setting those expectations, and we can be on this whole training. Which will only take about 20-30 minutes. And so if we run over 11:45, I think that's totally fine. Sweet. All right, let's jump in real quick. So a couple of things, and I will go into present mode here. Can y'all see my screen where it says professionalism?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. Couple of things. I am scheduling trainings for us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This week, we actually have 3, right? We've got the end of day report training from yesterday. We have today's training. And then Thursday, we're going to do a live call breakdown. So I'll pull some of your calls and we'll listen to a call live and we'll give you guys feedback on stuff. And so, that's going to be the cadence of things. And then if we need to adjust or we need to move them around, like maybe slide them over to like Monday, Wednesday or something like that, and at a different time, then we can do that. We can move them around in the calendar. But like I mentioned on my call yesterday, these should be on your calendar. So when you're scheduling demos and things, just be cognizant of that. If the DM can only make it at a time that's over the training, then book it and let's prioritize the revenue. And you can watch the recording afterwards. But try to prioritize these trainings and work your calendar around these trainings. Cool. Can I get a thumbs up there? Boom, thumbs up. Yeah, there we go. Solid. We're going to jump in. This is professionalism. the following, so the way I like to structure these is sometimes we'll do a standardized training like this, and then later in the week we'll do a call breakdown. And for the first few weeks, we'll kind of get in the habit and get in the cadence of that. And then eventually we'll get into the point where we're doing like 2 call breakdowns each week. When we have a big body of calls and we've got demo recordings and we can zoom in on the needs analysis and the trial close and pricing and discounting and all that stuff. But today we're going to go through professionalism. Our next standardized training will be called deliberate practice. But today, I don't want you to think that I am telling you guys that this isn't a training where I'm like, you have to do this. This is more of I'm going to explain what it takes to be a pro in the sales industry. And if you want to be the 1%, you want to be on top of the stack ranks, you want to make 200, 300K a year, right? Then these are some things that we need to think about, and a mentality and a mindset that you need to have when you approach your day and approach your conversations. So this is more of a mentality type of training. You can do this stuff. You can embody this stuff. You can try to lean into this to be the top 1%, but I'm by no means saying that, you have to do these things and go above and beyond, right? But you're going to hear me talk about this all the time. Like, what does it take to be on the top of the stack rank, an elite salesperson making a ton of money? And we're going to go through what professionalism is and what that means. Because I like to think of us as sales professionals, not just salespeople, right? All right, cool. So we're going to talk about what is professionalism. We're going to spend some time on the 3 levels of dedication. And then we're going to talk about being a pro and what that means. And then lastly, we're going to talk about your actions. And I have a short video for us to watch at the end of this. So let's talk about professionalism really quickly. Let's see, Zach, give me a read on the screen here of this definition.
Professionalism: the competence or skill expected of a professional, the practicing of an activity by a professional rather than amateur players. The skill, good judgment, and polite behavior that is expected from a person who is trained to do a job well.
Heck yeah, thank you. Immediately, what jumps out here is like it's the competence or skill that's expected of a professional. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot, but a professional, when I think of when I say the word like profession, like what comes to mind? Like you can just blurt it out. Like when I say profession, like what comes to mind?
Professor.
Yeah. Okay. Professors, like college professor, right?
Yeah. Like a nurse or like a firefighter. That's what comes to mind.
Nice. So like career type oriented, like a lawyer, maybe a doctor. Maybe I'm taking words out of your mouth. Arnav, he's on unmute, so you can just blurt something out too, if something comes to mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, and like just something that you're proficient at, like within those like lines of work.
Right. Yeah, something that you're proficient at. Right. Yeah, but just because I'm like proficient or I'm in the profession of in the medical field, does that make me a good doctor?
No.
No, right? Like there's probably, and unfortunately, there's probably people out there that are lawyers or attorneys or they're doctors or they're like nurses or whatever, right? And they may not be as proficient. They may not be at the top of their game. So I think that's like kind of a misconception when we think of the word like profession or professionalism. I think too, like a janitor at like a elementary school, right, can be even more of a professional than somebody that is like a doctor that's late or treats their staff bad or whatever, right, and doesn't do things the right way. Whereas this janitor maybe shows up on time, treats his staff and the students with respect, right? I would probably think of that person more as a professional and embodying the word professionalism more so than somebody on the opposing side of that. And I think that like goes down to that bottom statement here: the skill, good judgment, and polite behavior that's expected of a person who's trained to do a job well. And we're gonna lean into this concept of like deliberate practice, right? But it's the practicing of an activity by a professional rather than amateur players. And you're gonna hear me reference that and the dedication that it takes to step your game up here. But I like to think of us as professionals, sales pros, right? Because what do you guys think of when I say pro?
Sports.
Sports immediately, right? Like that's like what comes to mind for me. Maybe it's because I'm a sports guy, but I think of like athletes at the top of their game, like a professional athlete, right? And it takes dedication and work to get there, right? The thing is, guys, is like all of these professions that we're talking about, it's whether you're sports, whether you're a doctor, whether whatever, you're doing that and you're making a living doing that. That's literally what feeds your family, supports you. It's the same thing in our world, right? And I want us to, I know that like we were talking about football a little bit on one of our trainings, right? And y'all may not be the biggest football fans or sports fans in general, but you get the concept of somebody being elite in the top of their game and being a pro at what they do. And those folks, the difference between them and people that play in college, which college is exciting, or even high school, is that they're making a living doing what they're doing. And so do we. I want us to view what we're doing as like, this is the elite of the elite. But this is you are a pro. You are a sales pro at what you do. You literally make a living. This dictates the effort and the energy and the practicing and the dedication that you put in dictates your paycheck. And that's what's beautiful about sales is input equals output. It's a meritocracy. Your effort levels are going to be seen in your commission checks, right? So I want us to think through the lens of that, right? I think this quote is huge, and I'm going to ask you, and you might not know this image in the background here. You probably know who it is, but I'm going to ask you in just a second. But a professional is someone who does their best work even when they don't feel like it, right? I think this is a huge statement here because we have a lot of stuff you're going to experience on the phones, like rejection, people cussing you out, like F customers, right? Demos that don't show up, schedule decisions that say no, not to mention all the outside noise and personal stuff that you've got going on as well, right? But whenever you're on the phones, it's game time, right? And a professional is someone who does their best work, even when they don't feel up to it or feel like it. I'm not saying that you need to show up sick. Please don't do that. Get better, right? Don't show up sick, right? But there's a lot of stressors and a lot of outside factors that can deter your focus from the phones and doing your best work. And a professional is someone who puts on the game face, puts on a show, and is enthusiastic about what they're doing and never skips a beat, right? Does anybody recognize this image in the background? First off, who is this in the background?
Michael Jordan. And he's playing basketball. He's like tired, but he's about to be a professional and work hard, even though he doesn't feel like it.
Let's go. Does anybody know specifically, though, this game? I know this is weird. It says NBA Finals 1997 on that guy's logo in the background. Does anybody understand? Does anybody know this specific game? I don't expect you to. Okay. This is called the flu game. I want y'all to look that up later on, right? But this is called the flu game. And I think it was game 6 or game 7 in the series. I think it was game 6, actually. And then it went to a game 7. Michael Jordan was, I think they were maybe playing, yeah, there we go. That's it. He actually was sick here the night before, and people call it the flu game, but he really got, I think it was like technically he got food poisoning. Yeah, and he was feeling terrible, like throwing up, like headaches, fever, all sorts of stuff, right? Like not good. He was not feeling great. But the next day, he bucked up and performed and put up some of his some crazy stats and basically did his work that everybody else expected him to do, right? Whether you're sick, whether you're not sick. And again, I'm not saying we need to show up to work sick, but that right there, I look at this guy and I'm like, dude, first off, greatest of all time basketball player, in my opinion. Absolutely phenomenal, right? There's an argument to be made about LeBron and all that stuff, but this guy did a three-peat, took a year off, and then came back and did another three-peat, and then said, yeah, I'm good, right? Like crazy. Like he is like the GOAT, but I expect him to go when he steps on the floor, and like he's going to put up his best work, right? Whether he's not up for it, whether he doesn't feel like it or not. And that's what he did. He went up and he just absolutely was a pro, handled his business, and cruised his team into the next game, which they won these finals here. Absolutely insane. So that's called the flu game there. But a pro is someone who does their best work even when they don't feel like it. Comes with their game face, knows they got a task at hand, and handles business, right? Want to quickly talk about this. This is the 3 levels of dedication. Usually I've got a big group here and I'm asking for some engagement, but did any of y'all play high school sports? Any sport in high school?
I played lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Nice. I like that. Arnav, any sports in high school?
I did swimming for like a year.
Dude, nice. Okay. Matt, any sports?
Yeah, I was a super competitive trampoline athlete and diver. So I was doing acrobatics.
Dude, cool, man. Heck yeah. Let's go. I played soccer in high school. I played football in junior high, and then I didn't grow in high school, so I went back to my roots and went to soccer. So I didn't get crushed. But I played soccer all throughout high school. I did not play soccer in college, though. Did anybody play? Did you go on, Matt, to like swim in college at all? Or Zach, did you play lacrosse in any college or like after high school?
No, I mean, I graduated high school in past June, so I wouldn't have.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forget, man. You're a young cat. That's it.
If I
Arnav,
was going to start college, it would be in maybe like a couple weeks. That's when my freshman year would have started.
dude, now you're going to be making money, man. You're going to be throwing up 6 figures. So heck yeah, dude. Arnav, did you go on to swim at all in college?
No, didn't pursue any sports.
Okay. I didn't either. And why do you think that is? Why do you think you go from like, let's just call it basketball, like millions of people in the country, they go from they play in high school, right? Millions, and then you go to college and maybe there's like tens of thousands, or a couple 100,000, like maybe not even that. Why do you think that is? What's the difference of going from like high school to college?
Just like the level of excellence.
The level, yeah. I mean, it's on the screen here too, right? I think that's like the level of dedication becomes a little crazier, right? Arnab, I don't know if you were about to say something the difference of going high school to college.
I feel like the incentive kind of disappears to do it because you've already gotten into college. It sort of served its purpose, and now you just don't really want to do it anymore. And that's
yeah. I think too, like it's a lot more competitive. People are like, I don't have the time to dedicate to these things. There's also other people that are like way more competitive. I want to enjoy my college experience and not have to put the extra dedication and stuff in there. Now, going from college to pro, I'm assuming that none of us played pro sports, right? But think about basketball, for example. You've got tens of thousands of folks playing college basketball. Then you go to, it's 396 professional basketball players, like the cream of the crop, right? The dedication level going from high school to college is huge. And then from college to pro is even more massive, right? And with that comes a lot more dedication and a lot more effort and energy put on focusing on honing your craft. Like, for example, making sure you're eating correctly, your eating habits are good, right? Your conditioning and your training in the off season, because you are about to be a pro athlete and get paid for a living at what you do. So the level of dedication is even ratcheted up even higher going from college to pro. I want us to think about that. We're not high school salespeople, okay? Nor are we like some college or recreational sports team. We're not a college sales team either. I want us to think about this, and I want you to approach your day as being a pro at what you do, being a sales pro at what you do, and thinking about the dedication that you're going to need to put in to get to that level, right? So again, I'm not saying that you need to do these things, right? But I will say that if you want to be top 1% of your game and on the stack ranks at AutoHDR, at any future company that you go to and make 300K or higher a year, right? Then you will need to put in an extra level of dedication outside of your normal like 9 to 5 hours. Does that make sense? We're going to need to grind a little bit more, right? We're going to need to like practice outside of these trainings. So that's just my nugget of wisdom to you, is that it will require some dedication outside of just showing up for trainings and that kind of stuff, right? So let's talk about that. Like, what does it take to be a pro, right? A professional is someone who's committed to a calling, who takes time to obtain the education, the training, the expertise necessary to do the job in an outstanding manner. We're not here just to hit quotas and hit our goals. You should be thinking of that as like a bare minimum of what you need to achieve. We need to be overshooting that, right? We need to be doing our job in an outstanding manner. I think this is huge here. Being a sales professional is not a title, it's a commitment. You don't just put on a suit and tie every day or a name tag and say, I'm a professional, right? It's about doing the work, right? And embodying what it means to be a professional and being committed to a calling. Think of Michael Jordan, right? He was committed to a calling, right? He took the time to obtain the education, the training, and the expertise to do the job in an outstanding manner and go freaking win 6 NBA titles. Almost all of them back to back, which is incredible. Pros ensure the development of future professionals. So I already see the team camaraderie here. Zach, Arnav, eventually in the future, y'all's team will end up growing, right? And I have this image here because like birds of a feather flock together, so to speak. Y'all are going to be building the foundation for something incredible, and y'all need to sharpen each other here. So just know that negativity is cancerous, right? And when you're spreading positivity here and you're fostering a positive environment, right, you're creating and you're developing and you're taking on the responsibility of helping each other become professionals, right? And those who don't quickly find themselves surrounded by amateurs, and it's their fault. Remember, I used to train classes of 30, 40 sellers every single month, massive sales floors of like 500 people. People you can imagine not hitting quota, they're like down in the dumps, and they're out smoking a cigarette out in front of the building, and they got a new hire out there talking to them, and they're like, oh man, these leads, man, this, they're like, this process, these scripts, before you take advice from people, right? You got to ask them, how much money did you make last month, right? Then you decide whether or not you're gonna take advice from them, right? But my guidance to you there is y'all are on the foundation floor level of this thing, and the kind of professionalism and the environment that y'all are fostering here is going to set the precedent and the tone for future team members as well, including y'allselves, right? So there will be days where it'll be, for lack of better words, a shit show, and it'll be hard, right? You're going to get a lot of no's, a lot of hangups. Well, let's support each other, let's lift each other up, and let's be committed to developing each other, and that's the professional, right? Another thing here on the dedication piece, right? The non-professional doesn't think it's their responsibility to improve themselves. They blame others and circumstances, the leads, the script, the process, whatever it is, but they won't practice. They won't dedicate any time outside or buy a book, come in early, stay late, or practice role playing, hit me up, like let's break a call down without somebody telling them to do so, right? To them, it's just a job. And that's okay. Like, that's fine. There's plenty of salespeople out there that are going to make average amount of commission checks. They're going to hit their goals, whatever. But we're talking about being a professional, being a pro at what you do, and being the elite of the elite, right? So it's going to require a little bit more than just like you showing up to 2 weekly trainings with me when I have them on your calendar, right? It's going to require you guys to come in a little bit early, role play things that that maybe you're getting hung up on with me or with each other. Buying a book, right, outside of this, reading and sharpening your skill set outside of this. I think that's going to be huge as well, right? But again, it's taking time outside of just your normal working hours to listen to your phone calls and become a professional. Practice, get better. 95, and this is beautiful here. This is beautiful. I mean, it hurts my heart, right? But this is beautiful for you guys. 95% of salespeople do not take the initiative to upgrade their skills and develop their competencies. Only professionals do. So when you grow the team and the team gets big, or later in 10, 20 years or whatever, right? Like you're at a different team and you got a big sales floor, you know that if you're focused on being a professional and doing these things, you've already beat out 95% of these folks, right? You got to focus on that top 5% that actually focus on getting better and taking the commitment and the responsibility and dedicating time to get better, right? So this is beautiful from y'all's point of view. 95% of people don't even do this. They just show up to work. To them, it's just a job, right? Not viewing it as like, I'm making a living doing this, and like I can really make a lot of money in sales. That's why I'm in sales. I outperform and I get paid for it, right? It's huge. Again, the philosophy here is the professional is not a label you give yourself. It's a description that you hope others will apply to you, right? If I asked like a previous boss or a professor or even Matt in the next 6 months, and I said, describe Zach or Arnav with like 3 main traits, what comes to mind? You are hoping that that person is saying like, man, Zach is a pro or Arnav is a pro. Corey's a professional, right? Always on his game, always dedicating time, always performing, like growth mindset, hardworking, coachable. You want, Matt, you want future bosses. You want, people to associate professional when they think of you. That's one that you hope. It's not something where I put a tie on again and I put a name tag on. I'm like, I'm professional, right? That's not it, right? It's through your actions. It's through your dedication. And it's work hard and people will notice. And that's the philosophy of that. All right, cool. 3 simple reminders. I got this short video I want us to watch here. Walk and talk and think like a pro. I think this is a great video. It talks about 100-0. And you can see that on the screen here of what that is, but I'm going to let him explain that just a bit more. I think this is something to live by in your environment, right? But the first thing is like, we need to be paying attention on how we carry ourselves, like walk like a professional. Your actions need to exemplify the company's core values. You out-practice, you outwork, you outperform, right? Talking like a professional, take responsibility in conversations that you have, know certain time and place to use certain language and when not to use certain language. Again, let's be viewed as a credible expert, a pro on the phone, right? So just let's not get too loose in our conversations, especially with customers. And then thinking like a pro. This mentality, this is whole presentation about this is how to approach everything, plan, preparing, and being strategic in everything that you do. And you're never caught off guard. Therefore, there can never be excuses. I think one of the best advices that people gave me, pieces of advice that an old leader gave me was excuses are a waste of time. They are. Excuses are a waste of time. Let's figure out solutions to certain things. And this is that concept of 100-0. So I'll play this video. Let's watch this, and then I'll open it up for some questions. And we'll get you guys eating some lunch, maybe some Taco Tuesdays, like you mentioned, Zach. I need to reshare my screen. I apologize because I have to toggle on the audio aspect. Apologies. And we are back in it. All right, cool. Sweet. Let's jam this. And apologies. This video is it's an old video, but it's a great video. So let's watch this real quick.
1998, Fortune magazine named a relatively unknown bank in Columbus, Georgia, Synovus Bank, the best company to work for in the United States. 57 consecutive quarters of double-digit profit growth, 15,000% growth in employees in 10 years from 1988 to 1998, a turnover rate 1/5 their industry average. So I'm intrigued. And they beat the pants off of all their major competitors in every market they're in. So I call up the CEO. I said, can I come and visit your bank? He says, yes. 3 months later, I'm sitting in his office in Columbus, Georgia. I said, Jimmy, before I meet anybody else in your bank, tell me, why is this the best company to work for in America? Why are you so successful? And I love it. In his strong Southern drawl, he said, John. He said, the secret of Synovus is the power of love. I said, Jimmy, I'm from up north. Could you say that again? He said, John, the secret of Synovus is the power of love. He said, you ask anybody in this bank why they love working here and why it's so great, they'll tell you it's love. He said, we love each other. We love the customers. We know each other's kids, each other's grandchildren. He said, one part of this company cries, the whole company cries with them. He said, you ask anybody the secret of this bank, they'll tell you the power of love. Gave me a badge, set me loose. I'm wandering around the bank and asking people, what's the secret of the bank? They said, the power of love. What's the secret of the bank? The power of love. But everywhere I go, I saw these 2 numbers on the wall, 100/0. Now, at first I thought, now this is an honest bank. I mean, they put it right up front where you can see it. You give us 100% of your money, you get nothing in return. You know, they never laugh at TD at that. I don't know why, you know. Their customers laugh. I just don't know why they don't laugh. But it's obviously not it, because it's on badges, it's on walls, it's on desks. So finally I asked a teller in one of the branches, what's the 100-0? She said, oh, that's easy. She said, the 100 stands for 100% responsibility. You never say it's not my job. You never say I'd have been on time if it wasn't for the traffic. You never say this would be a great company if the CEO would just do his or her job. 100% of the time, you take responsibility for the success of yourself and the success of this company. You know it's up to each one of us to keep this company great. She said, and the zero stands for zero excuses for not giving great service or great quality in every single interaction with every single person. There is never an excuse not to be your absolute best. I ran back to the CEO's office. I waited to see him. I said, Jimmy, wait a minute. You told me the secret of the bank's the power of love. What's with the 100-0 stuff? And I love it. He didn't even look up. He said, well, I forgot to tell you, it's tough love. But you know what? I think Jimmy Blanchard nailed it. He nailed it. If you want to create a highly engaged business, I would ask you right now, do you have those two things in your office? First of all, do you have the 100-0? We'll talk about the love in a minute. Do you have the 100-0? Do 100% of the people who work for you know what's expected of them? Do they know what you stand for? Do they know what you're shooting for in terms of the kind of experience that customers are supposed to have? Is there even one person on your team who is not a great ambassador for your business that you are either coaching up or coaching out? And I'll tell you right now, if you want to do something to create engagement in your team, if you've got even one person in your business who is either in the wrong job for their skills or is simply not a good ambassador for your business, one of the best things you can do for your business is when you leave this room, make a commitment that you will either coach them up or you'll coach them out if they're not capable or willing to do that.
Let's go. Dropping some knowledge.
1990.
Thoughts, comments, questions on that. Did that help?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I heard this quote is something like, winners kind of focus on what they made happen and losers focus on what happened to them. So
That's good. That's a good way to think about it. Yep. 100-0.
Attack.
The Zach attack. So you like that nickname?
That's you. Attack. Never admit when you should probably admit when you're wrong. Maybe never admit when you're wrong and win. Maybe admit when you're wrong. We could sprinkle.
We just.
Trump.
Oh man.
More Hormozy. Never admit. The body is like a battery. Don't exercise. It drains your energy. Drains it.
Got the hands going. Oh man. No, I think it's spot on, right? I think like 100% accountability and responsibility, knowing what's expected of you of the job and what's expected of the role, and then zero excuses, right? If there's things that you need help on, like we shouldn't complain about things. Let's bring those things to your leaders and like try to practice yourself first on how to get better at those things, or let's ideate on solutions too together, right? And let's own up whenever there's something that we do wrong or we miss a close, we didn't do a certain thing. Let's fail forward. Let's learn from that. Let's apply that to the next thing, right? I think that they nailed it with the 100-0 thing. This is a small, young, early team, but if we can set the expectation early on of being true professionals at what we do and like not leaving the day without knowing you put in the full effort. I always used to train my people up on like there's two types of pains. There's the pain of discipline and there's the pain of regret. And when you leave the day every single day, you've got to have the pain of discipline there, not the pain of regret, because you know that you could have done more. You left something on the table. You didn't necessarily reach the metrics that are expected of you. Or what have you, right? Because you just didn't feel like it and you didn't give that extra oomph, right? You weren't disciplined enough to run through the tape, right? So I think that's an important thing. If we can like embody that mentality and work on the dedication and the craft to upgrade our skills, practicing the cold call out loud with each other, listening to your calls proactively. I'll have an activity and assignment for you guys after we go through deliberate practice where I'll send you a form. And I want you to listen to some of your calls, your own calls in Cellfire, and score yourself. Inspect your own process. That's me telling and asking you to do that. but like, how often are you doing that? Like in the evening time, are y'all playing the calls back and listening? Man, he said this, I could have transitioned here, right? Little things like that go a long way. The extra dedication and that you put into honing your craft, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, it's beautiful what we do. We know we're going to get the same stuff on the cold call. Send me an email, not interested. There's not going to be too many wild objections that you get, and we can plan for most of them by knowing what to say, knowing where to transition the script back to. It's just how much time you're willing to put in practicing that off the field versus on the field. That's going to dictate whether or not you're a pro at this thing, right? And I'm already loving the results and the effort levels that I'm seeing. But let's try to embody this professionalism mentality and being a sales pro out there, and we can't freaking lose.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm actually about to hold a demo.
What?
So I got to jump real quick.
We're going to be off this thing.
He's going forward, but I have some stragglers from when I was practicing what I preach. So I got
some stragglers.
Some stragglers.
Some stragglers.
So yeah, you guys are going to.
Let's go.
Good. I think that was a good exemplary set and close, good teamwork, and we're going to be.
I love it. I love to see the early results. Thank you for the time today. We'll sync back up on Thursday. Remember the end of day reports. I put in that framework there. Zach, if you don't mind just helping Arnav do that make sale flow and click through to close that out on the back end with that latest deal. And then we'll make sure he gets his credits on Matt's side. So thank you guys. Appreciate the time. Keep crushing it. I'm looking forward to seeing more deals and sets and demos come through.
Thanks so much, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. You got it. Yep. Thank you. Bye.